There's a breeze, so I'm going to pretend to light our chalice.
And for our chalice lighting, hear these words from Martin Luther King Jr. The ultimate measure of a person is not where they stand in times of convenience and comfort, but where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. The words of Martin Luther King Jr. And here we stand in this amazing time, the past 4 months of incredible challenge and controversy. And we have been standing together here at the Springfield UU Meeting House. We've been on this immense, amazing, challenging journey these past 4 months. So this is a wonderful opportunity to just pause, catch our breath. The solstice was just 10 days ago. We're here at the beginning of a new phase. An actual third of the year has gone by, 4 months, since we went into this phase of the pandemic, and so much more. So this service today will be an opportunity to hold steady, to catch our breath, and to bless ourselves and each other as we continue living our lives in a completely different way in the pandemic, in this time of racial unrest, in this tense, interesting climate change, climate justice, all of this going on at once. So I'm so glad you decided to spend the morning with us and tune in. We are here to stand together with strength, with clarity, with love and compassion in this time of challenge and controversy, and to help each other. Welcome to our time of worship. We bid you welcome who come with weary spirits seeking rest, who come with troubles that are too much with you, who come hurt and afraid. We bid you welcome who come with anticipation in your steps, who come happy, who come proud and joyous. We bid you welcome who come as seekers of a new way, who come to explore and to learn. We bid you welcome who enter this virtual space as a homecoming, who have found here space for your spirit, and who have found in these people a family. Whoever you are, whatever you are, wherever you are, welcome to our time of worship together. As we have been traveling this interesting road these past 4 months, music has been a support and a touchstone for us. And what a gift that Julaine has joined our team. And for many of us, we have decades of protests and decades of longing and working for social change behind us. And Holly Near has been a really important person in many of our lives. So our opening song is from Holly Near, and will remind us of who we really are, the strength that we have inside ourselves. So, and as I said, everyone's on mute, but you're welcome to sing along. So go for it, Jolene. Thank you. And Debbie, you've got the words for us, right? Thank you so much. Yes, some of us remember protests in the past, singing Holly Near songs, and here we are. The voices of resistance continue. So join me, if you would, in the words for our affirmation. They are in the chat box. These were written actually by a Universalist from Barre, Vermont in the 1930s. And they are a foundation of our meeting house. So what are we here for? Join me. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve the needs of all beings, to the end that all shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with the source of our. We have another wonderful piece of music to share with you that is perfect for this holiday weekend. Here we are, the 4th of July. We look back on the founding of our country and what it's all about. And here in this moment of a constitutional crisis, this holiday takes a completely different cast to it than has ever been before. And to celebrate, we're going to sing a Woody Guthrie song. And thank you so much to Jelaine for putting together layering of voices and music, and to Deb Diegoli, the administrative assistant at our congregation, for putting together a beautiful montage of photography to go with it. You probably know this, and you'll be able to sing along. Deb's going to put the words up in the. Oh, you don't have the words? You'll know it. I think a lot of people know this one. And so the words are, it just went up. This land is your land. This land is my land, from California to the New York Islands. This land is your land and my land. What's the basic message of that? What's the basic message? Anybody want to shout out? What's it about? You can unmute yourself. What's the basic message of this song we are about to sing?
All of us.
All of us, yeah. And so the land's not just for a few people. And this is fundamental to who we are as a country. We say we are a democracy. And why are we singing this at church? I'm going to do a screen share just to remind you of why we are singing this at church. I didn't label this one, and I'm having a trouble figuring out. There it is. Okay. We are singing this at church because it is part of our principles. The democratic process. Right here. Oops. The right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society as a whole. And also, one of our principles is the inherent worth and dignity of every person. As Ed said, all of us, the foundation of our country, the foundation of our Unitarian Universalist Association of Congregations, everyone matters. So join in singing and in the spirit of this song. Thank you so much, Jelaine and Deb. Here we go.
And also Olivia Wright, who isn't here because she's camping.
Thank you. Wow, 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 wow. Woo! What a beautiful piece. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Elaine and Olivia and Deb. Wonderful.
Deb, that slideshow is just amazing.
Yay, how fun. That's great. Yes. And I had wanted to start off the service with a song called the Abenaki Welcome. The native peoples who live here in Vermont, where I am located, were the Abenaki people, part of the Algonquin Nation. And Lynn Wolf knows the Abenaki Welcome song, and she unfortunately wasn't able to join us for this service. So we are going to sing the Abenaki Welcome, hopefully in August, and you'll get to hear it then. So I want to just pause and remember that this land, and thank you, Deb, for those beautiful images. This land that we have the joy, the pleasure to live on was first inhabited by the native peoples who, upon contact with Europeans, about 90% of them died from the diseases and that were conveyed from Europeans that the native peoples had no immunity to. So here we stand, part of the heritage of our nation, the indigenous peoples who were so greatly harmed by the arrival of Europeans here. So stay tuned for the Abenaki Welcome, which will be coming soon at an upcoming service. So let us just take a moment for meditation and prayer. Some of us are outside today, so if you're outside, you can hear the bird sounds, breathe in the fresh air, and just come into your body, come into the presence of yourself in your body. Feel yourself, the chair that you're sitting in, feel your breath. Just pay attention to your breath and sit quietly for a moment. As your mind wanders, just bring your mind gently back to your breath. Thank you for sharing that silence and that time of meditation and prayer. Spirit of life, the source, the one known by many names, thank you so much for this beautiful early summer day. Thank you for the gift of what for some of us is a holiday weekend. And thank you for this opportunity to pause and reflect on this great nation that we have the privilege and the responsibility to be a part of, to look back on where we've come from, and most importantly, to look forward at how we can help create the beautiful, compassionate, just, sustainable world that we long for. Open our hearts and our minds and our bodies. Where are we not understanding, Great Spirit? Where are we resisting? How can we change inside ourselves, our ways of being, our ways of living, our ways of thinking, so that each of us can be an important part of the remaking of our nation and the rebirthing of our world? Guide us. Thank you for the gift of this hour together where we can remind each other and help each other shape the beautiful, just, compassionate, sustainable world that we long for. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Well, here we are, 1 months into this pandemic time, layered over with racial injustice and tensions, layered over with a constitutional crisis, and in the lap of climate change and climate justice. If this isn't a potent time to be on the planet, I don't know what is. So I invite you to take this 4th of July weekend as an opportunity to pause and take it in. This unprecedented, that word has been appropriately used over and over and over again. And I invited you to be outside if you choose to for the service today. And what I want to do, for many of us, these devices, this thing that I'm connecting with you through, this is our lifeline in this time of the pandemic. If we did not have Zoom, if we didn't have our computers and our devices, I can't imagine what it would be like to be experiencing all of what we're going through. So these devices are quite wonderful. And at the same time, they have a lot of challenging sides to them, don't they? Some of us find ourselves poisoning our hearts and our minds by overindulging in the negative news that is streaming constantly to us through these devices. There's so much blessing to these devices, and yet there is great harm, potential harm. So I want to begin this conversation on At Home with the Brave. The title of this service is At Home with the Brave. Here we are at home. Here's our lifeline for many of us. And how do we use it? How do we use it wisely? How do we use these devices? How do we use them in service of what I was saying earlier, to help create the beautiful, just, compassionate, sustainable world that we long for? The devices can indeed be a part of that, or they can diminish us. They can sidetrack us. They can create harm. I'm sorry, my neighbors are having fun. Hope that you can still hear me. There's some noise out there. One of the things that can happen with these devices is that we can be spending way too much time inside. And here it is, gorgeous. So my question to you, are you getting out? You need to get out there. And if you're not, let me shake you up and say, get out there. For our well-being, our physical, mental, spiritual well-being, spending too much time on these things is terrible, truly detrimental. And spending too much time indoors for our well-being, we need it. We need it. And part of what can happen when we spend too much time on these things is we actually get disconnected from ourselves, from the planet, and from each other. So I invited you to be outside in part to connect with the earth and also with each other. So I want to invite you right now to face east. That means I'm going to, for me, it's about there. Yeah. So everybody facing east? So let's see. All of you are way down there to the south, to my right. Most of you. I think I'm the furthest north right now. So there's east. So take a breath. Take a breath. East, the direction of the sunrise, the direction of new possibilities. Now take a quarter turn and face south. So now I'm behind you, most of you. I think I'm probably the furthest person north right now. I'm behind you. Can you feel each other? And if you're outside, yell to me. Hey, Jeff, Diane. Who else is outside? Sharon. Can we hear each other? Who else is outside? Tony Streeter. Tony, you're outside. Hey, Tony. Who else is outside? You can forget when you're on the computer that we're on this planet and we're actually in a physical location connected to the planet and to each other. So I am currently facing south. You all, for the most part, let's see, Hugh and Cindy, you are way, you're a little bit that way. And Rita, you're way, even further south and slightly west than Cindy and Hugh. And Dottie, you're not so far. You're south, but a little bit west, not quite as far. And everybody else, you're kind of out there. Springfield, Wethersfield, all in there. Can you feel it? Now turn a quarter turn. You're facing west now. So you all are off to my left, and I'm up here. You feel me? Hey, y'all. And we are under one sky. West, the direction of the sunset. And now turn one more quarter turn north. And now I've got my back to all of you. You all are behind me. I think right now on this call, I think I'm one of the furthest north. Oh, maybe Sue, you are on here. You're in Montpelier. I think you might be slightly further north than me. So I'm doing this exercise to remind you that when you're on the computer, you're still on planet Earth. Don't lose track of yourself and each other. And even when we are apart from each other, we are still connected. We're breathing the same air right now. Hugh and Cindy, way down in North Carolina, Rita in Georgia, Dottie in Pennsylvania, we're breathing the same air. All of you in Springfield, Wethersfield area. We can take one big breath together. We are united still. Underneath our feet is the same planet. And the native peoples who lived here, they knew, they felt that connection. So feel it. And as you're feeling it, I want to tell you a story. This is a story from my friend who's an architect. She was out in the field. They were actually in Australia on a trip out working on a project, a building project. And the guy who was in charge, they decided they needed to make a change and meet up at a different time with the other Aboriginals who were in the project. And as they were realizing they weren't, they had to make their change of their plans. They're out in the field, and one of the Aboriginal people who was with them said, okay, I'll let them know. And the architect said, okay, how are you going to do that? And he said, I will send them a message. And so the Aboriginal person stood there, and through his ability to connect, to breathe, to think, to send images, he let the other people know that they would be meeting a different day, a different time. And the white American who was on this trip was like, really? You're kidding. And sure enough, the day came when they were supposed to meet, and they all rendezvoused at the right place, at the right time, the right day. The message that had been sent psychically by the Aboriginal person, it was received, and they synced up. We as human beings have great, great potential. Do you not know that about yourself? Do you not know yet how absolutely amazing you are? Do you not know that you're not just your thinking mind, you are your beating heart, you are your body, you are your soul and your spirit, and you have wonders within you. And to develop the fullness of your wonders, it won't happen if you spend too much time on these things. So get out and connect, and remember, and feel yourself connected to everything and everyone. Let's practice right now. Send a message to somebody here. Send a message of love, somebody who's on the screen. Okay, we can unmute and say to each other, but let's do it a different way. Send a message of love or harmony or caring, or even meet me at such and such a place at such and such time. If you want to get that complicated, you might try small. Just send to someone who is connected, by screen, but that's kind of boring. Connected by heart, connected by air, connected by the cosmos with each other. We all are, always and everywhere. Even when we turn off the screen, we are still breathing the same air. We are still connected. So let's practice. We'll just pause for a moment and send a message to someone on this call. Do you know how wonderful you are? Do you know what powers of heart you have? If not, you've got a great discovery to live into. And if you do know already, take it seriously, your brothers and sisters. Use the power of your human beingness. Use it wisely. Use it wisely. Don't squander it. Back to Martin Luther King's words. The measure of a person is where they stand, what they do in times of challenge. What are you doing? Where are you standing? Use your moments on this earth wisely. Use them to love. Use them to help create the world that we want to see. So here we are at home with the brave, most of us stuck at home. A couple of years ago, I wrote a pledge for myself on using of devices, because I realized these devices are indeed quite wonderful. Do I have the right one? I hope I do. This was sent to you. If you're on our mailing list, you got this yesterday. And if you're not on the mailing list, put in the chat box your email, and we will send it to you. This is a pledge, a device pledge, and I invite you to take it and alter it for yourself. I won't read it out because we don't have time to, but basically I'm saying the point of my life is to be a channel of love and service. And I want to make sure every time I use my device, I'm doing so to that end, that I'm using it intentionally, that it is not using me, because these things are addictive. If you don't know that yet, they really are. And they're designed to be. They're actually purposely designed by the people who made them to addict you. So be careful. And one of the things on this device pledge is to turn it off, for God's sake. Turn it off regularly. Turn off the news. Get, not just this, but your computer, all of your, turn them off sometime. Get outside, be in nature. Use it in a way, you have to turn it off in order to come back and re-engage with it. Have you ever done a device fast? Consider doing so. So I want to invite you to take this pledge and use it in the way that's helpful for you. What I've started doing is at night, when I charge my phone, I keep finding these wonderful stones that, I don't know if you can see that, it's heart-shaped. So at night when I charge my phone, I put a heart on it, one of my heart stones. And I just say to myself, may I use this wisely? May I use it for good? May I use it for healing? And I do the same with my computer. Some of us have put in heart stickers on our devices, and we see them, we remember. This is a tool for me to use in the purpose of my life. The purpose of my life is love. Is this a tool that I'm using, or is it using me? To live your life on purpose, to be what Martin Luther King calls us to be. You need to be in charge of these devices, not the other way around. So, if you don't have the device pledge, put your email address in the chat box, and we'll make sure you get it to you. And it is also posted on the website, so you can download it from the website. So take it seriously. At home with the brave. At home, here we are. Our lifeline that we can use for good. And one of the bravest things that we can do right now, at this moment in the history of our country, as we look at what is going on, is we can have the courage to look inside. Just as the wise use of this is an inside job, and the connection with each other is an inside job, facing racial justice is also an inside job. I want to read to you these words from James Baldwin. James Baldwin, just an incredible African-American philosopher, thinker, writer. He says, any honest examination of the national life proves how far we are from the standard of human freedom with which we began. So we failed as a nation, he says, to uphold that standard of freedom. The recovery of the standard demands of everyone who loves this country a hard look at himself. For the greatest achievements must begin somewhere, and they always begin with the person. If we are not capable of this examination, we may yet become one of the most distinguished and monumental failures in the history of nations. Let me read that again to you. So any honest examination of our national life proves how far away we are from the standard of freedom that we started with. The recovery of that standard demands that each one of us look within ourselves. For the greatest achievements have to start somewhere. They have to start within. And if we aren't capable of this self-examination, we may yet become one of the most distinguished and monumental failures in the history of nations. It's an inside job, folks, to look within. And I want to challenge you to do that hard work. I'm going to screen share this. Some of us are participating in a variety of different groups. Sorry, I'm having trouble with screen share today. There we go. There. Okay. So there's that quote I just read to you by James Baldwin. And on Friday night, we showed that movie, that we had a discussion of the movie Just Mercies. I want to challenge you to do at least one, if not two, if not all of these. Watch the movie Just Mercies, read the book, talk about it with others. There's three of us, Diane, Deb, and myself, who are currently in a book group discussion of My Grandmother's Hands about racialized trauma by Resma Menachem. And there's an interview with him from Krista Tibbett. Watch it. Read the book. We probably will do a group book reading of this, and Deb and Diane and I are probably going to do a worship service related to this. The service that I am doing in the first weekend in August is very much connected to this. This is the hard internal work that we each need to do. And the book that we are doing this summer, it's part of Vermont Reads, The Hate You Give. The free copy is available through the Meeting House. If you don't have a copy yet, let us know. We'll get you a copy at the Meeting House and pick one up. We can make arrangements for that. It is, I have not had a chance to read it yet. The reviews say it's fantastic, and every Vermont Read book we've done has been amazing. White Supremacy and Me. There's a group of us who are currently doing a book group on this. Sharon's in it. Kayum, Suiko, Deb, I can't remember who all are. There's a bunch of us who are doing Me and White Supremacy right now. Really challenging, really worthwhile. It's a 28-day journey where you work with the book and look at prompts, look at really important questions to look inside yourself. Another book, White Fragility. I haven't read that one yet, but I've watched some of Robin DiAngelo's YouTubes, and it's definitely in the other books that and resources that we've already mentioned above. And the book Ta-Nehisi Coates' Between the World and Me, which he wrote to his teenage son, explaining what it's like to live with racism. And join a Who Will We Be Post-Pandemic group. In each of our sessions in these groups, we are looking at climate justice and climate change and climate affects those who had the least participation in creating it. It affects Black and Brown people the most. So all of these resources are on the website. This handout, we'll send it out to you. So I challenge you, do it. Do something. What James Baldwin says. It's an inside job. And my hope is the opposite of what James Baldwin said will come true. That rather than being the greatest failure of a nation, that we become the greatest success. Imagine a year from now. We don't have that much time, folks. The clock is ticking on climate. a year from now, 2 years from now, a few years from now, hearts full of gratitude and joy that we are doing it. We are turning things around as a country. That each of us has looked inside and done the hard work to see. Understand the foundation of this country is based on slavery and racism. And it permeates absolutely everything. It permeates you. It permeates me. And we can heal from it. That's the hope. That's the message. We can heal from it, and we must. So imagine a few years from now, having done this hard work that James Baldwin calls us to, that we've done it. Imagine throughout this country, people's hearts full of gratitude and joy that we have made the systematic changes inside ourselves, inside our justice system, that around the world, other countries are looking at us and watching us. We were the great experiment when we were founded. The great experiment. We need to succeed. We are at this crucial point in our history. And every person matters to turn it, to save it. And around the world, people in other countries are looking to us saying, hey, what are you doing? And imagine a few years from now, the other countries saying, they did it. They did it. They were on the precipice. And the American people woke up. They came back to the foundation of their country. And they saved it. So be brave. Be brave, my dear friends. Be brave. Do the hard internal work. And there you are at home. Use your devices well so that they support you as an instrument to recreate our world. Not you as an addict. Not you as a fearful, diminished person who is being battered around by what you're seeing and reading, but you as a strong person connected with nature, connected with other people, connected with what you know and your heart is good and right and true, and living it out into the world and doing the hard work that you are here to do. So I just want to pause for a minute and ask you to take a moment to find yourself in all of what I've said. Where are you at? Where are you at? So be brave, dear ones. Make a commitment. Make a commitment, please, to do at least one, if not all, of the things to face what's your part, our collective part of racism. Heal from it so that you can be a great ancestor. And make a commitment to use your devices wisely so that here in this time of the pandemic from your home, you are a radiant, healing presence, sending your love, your light, your kindness out into the world and co-creating the beautiful, just, sustainable, compassionate world that we all long for. You're part of it. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. Julaine has an incredible song for us.
You know it, of course, so please sing along. Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Oh, beautiful for pilgrim feet who stir in passion strands, a thoroughfare for freedom beat across the wilderness. America, America, God mend thine every flaw, confirm thy soul in self-control, thy liberty in law. Oh, beautiful for patriot dream that sees beyond thy years, thine alabaster cities gleam, undimmed by human tears. America, America, God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Thank you, Julaine. That's beautiful. And I was looking in the chat box and I see that Jeff posted that the Braves, the DC team, are probably going to change their name. So one glimmer of positive news there. And that line from the song, America, America, God, mend thine every flaw. We need to do this. Mend thine every flaw. There's a quote, I forget who it's from, that slavery is like a serpent coiled beneath the table on which the Declaration of Independence was signed. Deep, deep flaw. And we are mending it. We are mending it. You, each one of you, and me, together. Dear friends, if you have found community here, treasure it. Come back. We'll be here again in 2 weeks. Holding steady. If you have found challenge here, go and sit quietly with what is stirring in your heart. And if you have found hope here, send it out. Send it out into the beautiful and broken world that needs you part of mending. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.